I'm sure you all know about the daily challenge system to increase your XP in certain skills, but how many of you actively use ARC contracts to increase XP gain? Definitely not as many. In this video I'll tell you why you should absolutely be doing these, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I've talked about the ARC contract system in my skilling guides covering gathering skills, but I've never really made a dedicated video about the system despite it being an amazing daily experience. The ARC is a fairly large content update released in 2016, unlocked by completing a 5-minute mini quest called Impressing the Local. In this video we'll be focusing on the Uncharted Isle section of the ARC. For those unfamiliar, the Uncharted Isles are in essence randomly generated islands with a variety of high-level skilling nodes for the game's gathering skills. The resources you gather can be used to level some artisan skills as well. The majority of the skills you can train at the ARC require a high level inset skill of 90 to 96 depending on the skill and the tier of resource node. Generally speaking, you want to level the ARC exclusively on the highest tier nodes, as methods outside of the ARC for the lower level high level nodes are more experience per hour otherwise. When I speak about higher tier nodes, I mean Golden Bamboo, Aaliyah Crablets, Ancestral Energy, and Wobbegongs. Visiting an Uncharted Isle is done through a so-called voyage requiring supplies, which you can claim every day for free from this crate next to Rosie on Waiko. Otherwise, you'll need to buy them using the Chimes currency from Rosie. These will set you back 25 Chimes per supply, which can be reduced by buying the supply cost reduction upgrades, but that may not be worth it. Now, you're able to obtain Chimes through a variety of methods, including killing monsters inside the Elite Dungeon 1, but the main method you'll likely be obtaining Chimes through is by selling the resources you collect on the Uncharted Islands to the shops in Waiko, and completing the contracts we'll be covering in this video. It's worth noting you can gain up to 20% more Chimes from your resources by buying the commodity sale price increase upgrade twice, which requires Chimes and Tajitu, which you can rarely find through contracts and these chests. Only do this if you plan to spend a lot of time in the ARC farming Chimes. Now, the most resource efficient way of accessing the Uncharted Isles is by traveling to your own claimed island, costing only 3 supplies. It's best to claim an island from a long-term voyage, as you'll be able to have more special high-tier skilling nodes on a single island, which resets daily. To claim an island, you'll need to bring or keep a claim island flag in your bank at all times. This can only be done after the Flagfall mini quest, which consists of speaking to Bonnie, collecting a bunch of driftwood, and that's it finished. It won't take you very long. Now that you know the basics of the Uncharted Isles, it's time to cover the amazing underused daily method to gain extra juicy XP every single day. You're going to be completing contracts from Shoujobo. For simplicity's sake, I will not be talking about the other 2 NPCs, being the Whaler and Assassin, that also give out contracts, as those require Port's mission to access. Now, before claiming a contract, go ahead and toggle the board to gain Uncharted Isles contracts only to save a bunch of Chimes. Then go ahead and claim a contract. Now, I can't really tell you which ones to complete because it depends on your skill level. Do you have the requirements? Are you leveling those skills? Are you going from max cape? Are you going from 20? Whatever it may be, I would suggest avoiding the combat and farming ones personally. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the mining contracts, as I'm trying to get my mining level up before the physical level increase to 110 with the 110 mining and smithing update somewhere in the future. So I decided to focus on those, being Aaliyah Crablet contracts. You will not always get the contract of your choice if you're focusing on one skill or type of contract, so you're going to need to reroll, which will cost Chimes. At first, this won't cost you much, and it's pretty cheap, but the cost does go up to 60 Chimes per reroll if you're doing your 7th daily contract after all the upgrades. It's possible to reduce the cost of rerolling by 50% if you have this upgrade, but that requires the Goo outfit, which requires donating 25,000 Chimes to the Tengu. Alright, now that you have your contract, before you start going on voyages, make sure you bring a flag or have one banked in case you find an amazing island to claim, and buy a few contact items if you have the Chimes to spare. These items can be used to summon Sojobo on the island, removing the need to go back to Waiko for a new contract, which probably won't be necessary, as you can easily complete 2 contracts on an island from one resource, at least for the mining one. Now, the mining contracts will give you anywhere between 35 and 95 salts to collect, and each crab gives you 40, so about 2 crabs will complete your contract on average, as the average should be about 65. A spawn of 5 crabs, so 1 spawn on an island, will allow you to complete 2 contracts. It takes about 6 minutes to completely deplete a crab of its resources at level 99 mining and strength without any other boosts, using an Elder Rune plus 5 pickaxe. Using a bunch of mining boosts, you'll be able to decrease this down to about 5 minutes, either way it's going to be pretty fast. So if a contract is anywhere between 35 and 95 resources for mining, it's going to take you a little bit below 5 minutes to a little bit over 40 minutes to complete a contract on average. Now the reason these contracts are so good is because they give you an additional 360 mining experience per resource, regardless of if you have 35 or 95 resources to collect. Well, technically it does matter if you have more in the contract, because you'll be able to gain more out of this method per day, because you'll be able to mine more crablets before you're finished with your daily count, which can be 3 or up to 7 if you buy the upgrades. Reminder, use that contract contact item to summon Sojourn on your island to easily continue from contract to contract. Now, while I was getting significantly more experience per hour due to my boost, I'd like to cover what the average player at level 99 mining and strength with no boosts such as an aura or an outfit will be benefiting from this method and why it's so good. That average player will deplete a crablet in a little under 6 minutes, so 40 salts per 6 minutes. A contract on average should be 65 salts, so you'll be taking about 9.75 minutes to complete that contract. In that time, the average Joe will gain 30.6k mining experience in addition to the 23.4k mining experience obtained from completing the contract at 65 resources. That means that in a little under 10 minutes, you're gaining 54,000 mining XP, which is 76% higher than the base mining XP if you weren't using contracts. That is unreal in terms of XP gain. Now, a contract should on average reward you 325 chimes for selling the salt in addition to the 150 chimes you gain from the contract itself. So that's 475 per contract on average. This means you can reroll 7 times maximum on the best contract, which will cost you 60 charms per reroll if you want to break even, or you make sure you're not losing charms. This isn't precise math, as getting supplies will cost you 25 charms a pop, and if you don't have a solid claimed island with, let's say, about 2 spawns of these crablets to complete your daily contract, well, you could end up losing chimes, but it won't be much. The point is, if you want to maximize your daily XP gain from the Ark and Uncharted Isles, this is a really good method to speed up the grind. And opposed to some of the other things that are really good daily XP, such as Wilderness Flash events or warbands, you're not stuck to a certain time and you can simply AFK away and enjoy extra experience simply for activating those contracts. If you're going for max on 20s, absolutely do this. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.